Hey everybody, it is Demo Donna here, and thank you for signing up for one of my Demo Donna Studio classes. If you received this kit, thank you again. If you're still interested in having this kit sent to you so you can create along with this video, just click the link in the description and I will ship one right off to you. It makes 2 cards per kit. So I've already gone ahead and separated out my 2 kits, and these items in the middle are going to be used on both of them. And then I wanted to show you the beautiful inside of our card and also let you know I have card folds available, and that link is also in the description. And then I just uploaded a link of these 2 cards that I created using the card folds, giving you guys different ideas on how to put them together without having the die. So inking being one of them, and then tracing being another. 2 really simple ways to use your extra card folds. All right, everybody, let's get started on this. Like I said, the first thing to do is separate out your 2 kits. So I'm gonna put that guy to the side. And we are gonna go ahead and start with our card base, and that is this guy right here. And you're going to go ahead and open that up, and then you are going to take your first fold, and there is a score line here, but you can also go ahead and line up the design elements if your score line isn't very bold. So that is our first fold. Then I'm going to flip that over, and we're going to fold this back and line those up as well, just like that. And then you're going to do the same thing to this side. Fold this over, match that up, then come back, match those lines up, and then you have your beautiful fun fold card base, which does stand up. And then you have this really cool, these 2 little like photo frame flaps to hold the inside of your card in. Or like I said on the video, when using your oval dies, you can also just cut larger than that and glue right on top of it. But for this one, we are going to take advantage of them because they're super cute. Okay, so first what you're going to do is grab 2 of these, and this is from Chill in the Air pattern paper. Really beautiful, and from Pink and Main. And like always, if you make any purchases with Pink and Main, make sure you use code DEMODONNA, all one word, and you will get a nice little gift as a thank you. Okay, so in my sample, I left a little border of white. You can do that if you'd like. I gave you extra paper, so again, it's up to you. I'm squishing it, there we go. It's up to you if you want to make it a little smaller or if you want it to cover completely. There is, if you can kind of see, if you move it around in the light, there is a little score line. It's definitely easier to see on the darker blue paper. And that score line is about an inch. So you are going to push this over. So you can either do the 2-inch mark here or the 1-inch mark, and then trim that off. So whatever you have left, you could trim it down to be smaller if you want, but to me, I'm going to use that as my border. So I'm going to save that there. And then I'm going to come in with my second one. And I know to make them even, I'm going to look at this 2-inch mark here. There we go. Try to keep them straight. It's always a fun part. All right, and now I have 2 strips that I'm going to use as my opposing borders on the other side. Okay, so next we can adhere these guys. So I'm going to take my adhesive And I'm gonna go light blue on this side. And again, I cut it just a little bit smaller. So I have a little white shadowing. White shadow. All right. There we go. And then I am going to just push that right up there. And then once I have that placed where I want it, just push that down so my glue grabs onto my paper. And then I'm gonna repeat, make sure I have a nice little white trim on the side. And you can actually cut them at the same time, so they're exactly the same size. Cutting them individually like I did obviously gives a little wiggle room to them not being exactly the same, but yeah, that kind of stuff doesn't really bother me. Okay, I've got glue all over my fingers. Business as usual here. You can always take a little wet paper towel, very, very, very slightly wet, not damp, and wipe off any water-based glue, especially from this paper because it's got a nice gloss on it. All right, so there is my base so far. And now for these guys, you are gonna take, now realizing I owe you guys more ribbon. Look at that. That is quite funny. Okay. So, Demo Donna didn't give you enough ribbon for both of your cards. That's gonna be fun. So shoot me a message, everybody. I will happily get, I have so much of this ribbon. So I owe you more because this is what I gave you for both kits. And I cut out 12 inches and you should have gotten twice as much. So sorry about that. This is not gonna be enough for your second card, everybody. So my apologies. And I will actually go through tomorrow. That's what I will do. I will go through and just send you guys all ribbon. So don't even worry about it. You don't have to reach out to me. If you ordered one of these kits, I will get that in the mail to you tomorrow. It's Wednesday, so Thursday at the latest. And then anyone that orders a new kit, you don't have to worry about that. You will get enough ribbon. All right, so I'm adding a little easy tear tape and I'm centering it. You know, where's my quality control department when you need it? That would be me. When you're a one-man shop, there's no one to blame. Isn't that funny? It's just you. Okay, add the little remainder of what I have here. And then I'm gonna add some easy tear, this is an easy tear tape, some craft glue right over top. I'm gonna throw some on my ribbon. And then I like a little strip of blue and then push that down. There we go. And then repeat with the other side. Grab some easy tear tape. And put that on the top and the bottom. And the remainder in the center there. All right. There we go. And now we are going to one end, flip that over. Don't pull too hard because you don't want it to bow. So just make sure it's just enough. There we go. And then again, I'm going to leave a little bit of space, just like that. And now I have two cool little borders. And in the sample that I did, you can even do that with a strip of easy tear tape and add glitter is another way to create that kind of border look. So I did the same vibe, but here I used a nice sparkly ribbon. And here I actually used the easy tear tape and the beautiful glitter from Pink and Maine. Okay, and next we are going to take our little white snowflakes. So these are from a new release. They did not come with these snowflakes. I just wanted a nice background and they worked. So in your kit, you got a cluster of snowflakes, more than what you're going to be using, but I just wanted to make sure some of them didn't cut all the way through to the second paper. So I just wanted to make sure, for instance, the light blue, we're going to be using 2 light blue snowflakes. So I have 1 and 2 done. For the dark blue, you're going to be using 3. So 1 on the inside and 2 on the outside. So I'm going to grab 1 and 2, and then I think there's a little one on the inside, and it doesn't matter. You're gonna get like I said, a cluster of snowflakes, so they don't have to be exact as the ones that I am using here today. And then for your cards, you are supposed to have 3 of the silver ones per card. If you are missing some silver snowflakes and you would like me to send you some more, let me know. You should be good, but just in case, count all your snowflakes. Sometimes when there is a ton of stuff, it gets a little crazy. So there's 3, and I don't even have the same one. It's probably in my other card. So like I said, you're gonna have different designs on both of your cards, and that is fine. They're snowflakes. They're supposed to be fun and different. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we are gonna take the largest one here and any large snowflake you have here of your silver, and we are gonna layer those. And like I said, these did not come with these dies. These are actually snowflake dies that go with a new Pink and Maine stamp set, but I wanted the white backgrounds so they had something to stand out on. I'm now gonna take the baby blue, and that is gonna be the center snowflake. And twist it up a little bit. There we go. And that one's gonna go here. And then we're gonna take this next one here, and I'm gonna do a dark blue snowflake on the bottom. Oh, it's nice that it actually fits. They all don't fit, so it will be random. And then this one, I am going to layer that in this snowflake. See, like this one definitely does not fit. It's not the same design, but like I said, that part's irrelevant. Okay, and then you're gonna grab 2 silver ones. I have these 2 ones left, so I'm just gonna layer these 2, which are the same snowflake. Oh, and those look pretty together. And then, oh, these guys are the same too. That's funny. I knew I had a hair on here. So just twist those and you're good to go. But you can use different snowflakes. They don't have to be the same like these are. They were not the same in my little design here. These are both different. These are both different. But it just ended up that way. Okay, so that is the outside. Okay, now that these are done, we are just gonna set these aside to let them dry. And then we are gonna work on layering our center. So we are gonna grab, and that is what mine looks like. Again, yours does not have to be exactly the same. And we are not going to do everything because we still have to put our lake together. So actually, we'll do our embossing now. That's what we're going to do. Okay, first and foremost, you can kind of see, I think this one's a little bit smaller. So you can trim this down if you want, or you can leave it exactly the same. I think I'm going to cut mine down like 1/4 of an inch. You can use scissors. You can use your die cut. You're going to want this to go across. So I'm going to say, I gave you a little bit extra. So I'm going to say cut it like that size. And you know what I'm going to do? I am just going to move that guy out of the way and cut it. So I cut off like 1/4 inch. Again, you can use your cutting board. I mean your paper cutter, your cutting board, that's funny. You can cut up some tomatoes, some cucumbers, and then your little frozen lake. Okay, yeah, about 1/4 inch off of that. Again, you can also leave it, you can leave it that size as well. It's just gonna be a bit higher. Okay, so for our embossing, you do need a Versamark or any clear embossing ink. And then you need this guy, and you're gonna need one of these guys. This is also something you're gonna wanna trim. This one I actually cut short by accident, but that works out to be pretty much the right size. And let me tell you, if you need to trim yours, where to do that. So you're gonna wanna trim it down to, let's just say 2.5 inches. So the top of my banner here is at 2.5 inches. Yeah, that is perfect. Therefore, you know what size to cut yours to. It's better than guessing, like the fun thing we did with this guy. Okay, now that I have these two ready to go, I am going to take my coffee filter. And there's 2 ways of doing this. You can either grab a scrap piece of paper, like so, and you can ink on top of it, or you can just take your little lake here and just dip it in like that, and then put that face up on your coffee filter. And I'm going to do that same with my winter wishes. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Now you are going to take your icicle. You have a little sample pack of icicle. And I'm just going to grab a little spoon here. And this is actually how much is in your little sample baggie. There we go. And then sprinkle that on your other piece. And you have plenty to do your next card. All right, I'm going to take my tweezer tool. Gonna hold it right there. Grab my heat tool and heat set. And you want it to go from that powdery look to that beautiful, clear, sparkly look. So look at the difference. This is not heated, and that is heated. So you could see the shiny difference versus this still has that matte finish. All right, now we are going to, I'm putting my tweezer tool where I know it's going to be covered up. So I did that on the top. Not that you could really see little marks because it's so skinny, but all right. Now I have a beautiful, shiny, sparkly banner. Okay, so I am going to set this aside. Put my tweezers away. And I am gonna grab my adhesive. And just add some glue. There we go. Now, if you want to add extra glitter to your card, this snow would be really pretty with some glitter. There's a couple different options with Pink and Main on what kind you could use. Snowdrift is really pretty. Icicle is really pretty. And the ice rink is a really pretty nice glitter. So there are some options. It's good to know your options, like when you're adding fun things to like a meal kit. Okay, now I'm going to add a little glue here. And I am also going to kind of give that a little, there we go, like a little lift. So it's got that white frame around it. Kind of goes in with the look of that. So that is what we have so far. Might as well glue it on our beautiful background. You know, that could have been an easy step one, but that's okay. And I used the brand new Swiss Dots embossing folder on that, as well as this is the oval. Yes, this is the oval that comes with the Oval Forest View Dies. So you get a scalloped oval, which was too large to fit in our little slots. So I use the actual oval for both the beautiful shimmery cardstock on the back and when I cut out the white scene. Okay, flip this over. And now we are gonna glue this down. There we go. I'm just adding, you don't have to cover everything with glue, but I'm just adding a little here and there. And don't overdo it. I kind of overdid it on these because that's gonna smear out. And you don't want that either. All right, flip that over. There we go. And you are just lining that up, same ovals. So it's just gonna cover that entirely. It's okay if there's a little, like I have a little coming out on this side, and that's fine. Okay, because you're on something that's shiny and a nice shiny finish, sometimes takes a little extra love with your glue. So you can add an acrylic block over it if you'd like, something to help push it down. I don't have any heavy acrylic blocks, but even that works. Make sure they're not filthy. Look at mine's even dirty. What is happening here? Okay, that'll work. Good enough for me. All right, next we're gonna start with our beautiful trees. Again, you probably have more trees than what we're gonna actually use, But have fun, mix them up. They might be one way on one card and switched it up on another card. They don't have to be exactly perfect. Okay, so I'm going to take my big blue tree, my light blue one, and then another light blue. To kind of create a nice pine tree scene. And then my little baby blue one. Down here. And then on the other side, I'm going to do a larger blue. This is kind of like a medium one. There we go. And then this is also a medium blue, but that's fine. Do that one too. There we go. And then I've got my beautiful little deer. One of these crossed my yard. Probably antlers were like halfway, but just walked through my side yard, which is funny. I'd never seen a deer on that side. They're usually in the front of my house. So it was kind of cool. I'm like, hey, I'm teaching you in a class. You should come be my guest. But he wasn't interested. Crazy, I know. You would think he would have been all over it. Okay, but that is what we have so far. You do have a variety pack of snowflakes. They're all different in here. No one has the same pack, just like snowflakes. So typical of snowflakes to be totally different, but just kind of did different scoops, had fun with it. So you can layer, you can use more, you can use less, whatever makes you happy. I think I'm gonna go a little lower with this one. The one in my sample keeps getting crushed when I open and close the card. Okay, and that is that. Pickup tool. Okay, I'm gonna grab my little snowflake mix here, pour some stuff out. Most of you don't have these blues. I kind of ran out of what I was using in the beginning, so had to quickly run out and find a substitute, which are these blue ones. I don't have these. Most of you will have two of these larger ones. Those were from a Pink and Main shaker assortment, but I didn't have very many, so I used them all in like the first 20 kits. And then there we go. I'm gonna do that. And then I think these tiny little dainty snowflakes look so cute on your trees. So again, mix and match. No two cards need to look the same, just like your snowflakes. Just think they're so fun. You could put your snowflakes on your little hanging stars. You can dip into your own stash and see what kind of snowflake sequins you have. I found these big white ones recently, so was then adding those to some of the kits. So yeah, have fun, go crazy. Okay, two different things for your bow. It's not very easy, it's a little tedious, but you can weave your ribbon into your bow. You can simply take a pokey tool like this, and you can shove it in there, and you can do one row and then a second row. You can even cut it actually. Kind of push that in. Something I was just getting kind of crazy, like, ooh, wouldn't it be fun to wrap the center with that same blue ribbon? But kind of like a fun to do, not a have to do. So keep that in mind. If you want to kick this up to the next level and do something a little tedious, you can go ahead and do this. If you'd rather stick a beautiful blue rhinestone or even a snowflake in the middle of your bow, you can do that as well. Okay, so now I have 2 layers. Probably makes my life a little easier if I taped the first layer down before working on the second one, but that's okay. We shall make it work. We shall make it work. Okay. We're almost to the finish line. Come on, bow. There we go. Get in there. Go to your home. Okay. Sometimes you get a fighter, just like this guy. My goodness. You're almost there. There we go. Whew. Okay, nothing like being difficult. All right, there we go. Okay. All for that, I know. Craziness. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of easy tear tape to secure all that hard work down. So I'm just gonna go right over those. Then I'm gonna tape a little foam tape. Remove the backing of my easy tear tape. Gently, we don't want to aggravate our bow here. And if you want your card to be flat in the center, you do not have to do foam tape. You can just, there you go. All right, center of my card complete. But before I stick it in the center, we are going to finish the outside of my card. All right. I am going to add this guy first, and I'm going to go right about there. So I'm going to take some easy tear tape, which is under my foam tape, of course, because this is on the outside and it's going to be moved a lot. I just want to make sure it is extra secure. And I cut a little bit too much, but a little trick. If you don't want to grab your scissors again, when you go to the end there, you just pull it over. Nice and easy. Grab some glue. We're almost at the grand finale, everybody. And remember, Demo Donna owes you more ribbon. Don't worry, I will not forget. I will go to my order history tomorrow and ship you off some ribbon. If you need any other goodies for this kit, make sure you message me, which means you're gonna have to open your kit. But even if some time goes by and you still need something, don't worry, I will get you covered. We will make sure you have everything you need to create this beautiful card. Okay, so I'm gonna pop that guy up. Make sure you see your writing. And then also, if you wanna make sure this stays in an A2 size, make sure, this is what I like to do. I'm not concerned, but if you wanna make sure it stays in an A2 size, grab an A2 card base and work in that frame. So for instance, you're gonna wanna keep this inside the white. But like I said, I'm not overly concerned with that. So I am just going to let my snowflakes hang out. I usually send my cards like this in larger envelopes because they usually have bling on them. And then trying to shove them into an A2 envelope is virtually impossible. Okay, 1 and a 2. There is my second one, and then my third snowflake. There we go. Make sure it doesn't cover up your words. And now I've got my beautiful snowflakes, You can add a little bling. These are connected, so you're gonna wanna cut them. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. You can even add more snowflakes if you wanted to use your snowflake sequence instead of your bling. But I'm gonna go ahead and do just like the front, just like my sample card. Come on, backing. Gosh, things really liked to give me some trouble. But that always makes for a fun video, you know. It's good to watch us struggle every now and then. If you have some bling sticking over it, like I do here, there's a couple options. You can use an X-Acto blade and cut a little bit off, or you can always take a piece of scrap paper and cover it up. Or in this case, maybe I'll just grab another sequin. There, look at that. None the wiser. Okay, grabbing my center here, and you're just gonna pop that open and pop that open. And I'm gonna shove my bow under you. Sorry, that's how it's gonna go. You can also glue it on if you don't want your little bow shoved under there. I glued that bow onto my flap. Good to know. You know, sometimes we just do things a little differently. Months before we actually create the class. Good thing you watch this first before doing what I do, right? Okay, look at that. Voila. Wow, I bet the comment section is just gonna be loaded. Demo Donna, you had a very special YouTube video demonstration with this card. Okay, there we go, you guys. Woo, we did it. You can put your message on the inside. You can also cut another oval out and layer your message in the back. Lots of fun. But here is that Winter Wishes fun fold card, and you get enough to create 2 of them, especially when I send you some more ribbon. So don't worry, it's on its way. And thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you for supporting my small business, and have a lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye.